I mean, I've got the government document right here. Freedom from War, United Nations, State Department law. The UN gets bigger. They take the police, the military, and the citizens' guns. There it is. I'm going to show you from the manual itself. You think you're really going to be safe when only the UN, run by Communist China, has guns? Yeah, right. Well, guess what, Xi Jinping? You may have betrayed your father. I didn't betray mine. Because I don't come from cowards like you. And I piss on you. And I piss on Hitler and Stalin and Mao and all of you. And when we're done with you and all your minions, you'll know you've been defeated. So you can go ahead and throw everything you want against us. But you're now against the Republic. And all you're doing is summoning your destruction. And you will burn in hell. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Jones here, now into hour number 3. I intend to open the phones up starting next segment, so stand by for that to happen. I only go off what I can observe. And that means what I can research in the news, what I can see in actual real action, also what I've experienced culturally, spiritually, and then what sources tell me. And when I attacked Elon Musk 6 months ago when he came out and said, oh, we're going to have kiosks everywhere, you're all going to get brain chips, AI is going to take over, just submit to it. I said, well, this is horrible news. Screw Elon Musk. And I got a lot of calls from people that work with Elon. And they said, look, Elon's moving to Austin, and Elon really is a fan of yours, and you should really lay off Elon. I said, well, I don't go off that. I go off what he says. Elon, really pisses me off. So I attacked him more. The only way there's a way you can manipulate me, and that's telling me I shouldn't do something. So I need to look out for that. But then he didn't put the kiosk out this year for the brain chips. He'd previously attacked the New World Order, world government, the AI gods, the post-human future. They raided his company. They tried to shut down his operations. They had FBI investigations. Soros shorted the stock for a while, almost took him down. And then Elon started coming out, and people told me, they said, watch what Elon's going to do. Watch. Elon will show you. And then Elon came out, and he attacked the lockdowns 2 months ago. That was early on, and said they were a fraud and a scam. And he came out against the globalists, and he came out against tyranny. And then when Amazon banned a book by a prestigious New York Times writer about COVID being a hoax, he said it's time to break up Amazon. And Jeff Bezos backed down when that happened. And that's my experience. When you actually stand up as a little guy or a little lady or a big guy to tyranny, they back off. And we sit here where Drew Brees says, I don't want to kneel for the flag. I love America. And now he's apologizing and his wife's apologizing. It's all this exercise of getting on your knees. If he got on his knees up front, I'd know he was a slave. But now it's treason to say it's a fraud and he knows what's going on, but now he chooses to get on his knees once he got some pushback. You're a big star in the NFL. You go out there and fight men in symbolic war all day, but when the rubber meets the road, man, you're a jellyfish. It's pathetic. And by the way, I don't sit up here as a man and go, Drew Brees is a jellyfish and feel powerful. I feel weak. I'm like, there's got to be more men. This whole New World Order takeover, pedophiles going to the schools, forced inoculations that give you cancer and sterilize your ass. And the Chinese communists are in the Washington Post saying they'll crush our president, and the Washington Post endorses it. I mean, I feel pathetic. I don't feel strong that I haven't backed down and I've waged war and I've kicked globalist ass because I don't think of myself as that powerful. It's not that I'm that powerful. It's that there's so many damn weak people everywhere. And everyone that keeps bowing down to tyranny and thinking that if you grovel to it, you're going to get empowered. That's not how it works. They were teaching you when they were undermining the republic, because the idea of America threatened their tyranny, the idea of empowering the individual, the idea of judging someone off of what they did, not their credit score or their social score or what color they are. You think racism's bad? Social credit scores and AI tracking is 1,000,000,000,000 times worse. And everybody knows it deep down. It's the mark of the beast, people. God sent his son down here to prove he could take the obstacle course before he asked us to do it, to show us how to do it. Because that's fair, isn't it? It is. Oh, you're so big and mighty and great. Everything else, you put us through this to decide whether we can be with you forever? You're a sadist. That's what the Satanists always say. Your God puts you through this free will. Your God, no, God's not a sadist. God wants, as the Bible says, people for fellowship to be in communion with. Because when you're the big guy and created it all, you're lonely. But we got to start at the baby phase. Think of the potential of that. And the devil always says, your God is a sadist and put you in this to watch all this. No, God gave us free will. And the question is, are you going to use that free will God gave you? Or are you going to bow down to the New World Order? You notice that first you got to bow your head, then you got to bow your knees, now you got to get on your belly. And the very people running the abortuaries to kill all the black people, and the very people that are the satanic pedophile New World Order, tell us that's not a good enough start. You got to do whatever David Rockefeller's handlers, whatever the people he put in charge after he died, like Bill Gates, that guy literally got down and performed spiritual fellatio on David Rockefeller, and now Bill Gates has chosen Jeff Zuckerberg as his new vampire. Because they don't live forever, but they pass the spirit on. So you got the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, they hand the baton to Bill Gates, and now they're getting Zuckerberg ready, and it's just disgusting watching them. And just what's disgusting is we're going to take this. Watching men just bow. And then you notice when you bow, it doesn't get them off your ass. It makes it 10 times worse. Because you're not bowing to all the university students that have got a worthless degree and are chumps, all those schmucks. You're not bowing to all those suckers, all those marks, all those fools, all those victims. You're bowing to the big, fat, juicy spider up the road. And so all this mental illness with the Minnesota mayor crying at the gold coffin of George Floyd, they saw that weakness and they said, now you need to tell us the police department's in our control. And he said, no, it's in my control. And they said, that's it, get your ass out of here, bitch. He's the little mini man they elected to put in there for their operation. So here's the number to join us into the next hour, 877-789-2539. Any subject, first-time callers, long-time callers, agree, disagree. We only screen your call to say where you calling from, what's your topic. 877-789-2539, 877-789-ALEX, or U.S. country code 512-646-1776. And it's all coming up on the other side of this break. But let's show this little clip before I give you some Antifa news. Officer refuses to kneel before protesters who demanded. This article's up on Infowars.com. Besides the elderly getting assaulted by peaceful protesters at CNN, now we have an officer in MA who refuses to bow. Show us you're with us, they told him. But as soon as he doesn't bow, they get angry. Here's the clip.
But what about them? What about you? They're with me. They're my guys. They're with me. All right. We'll kneel for God. Can we pray? Can we pray then? Can we pray? Can we pray? How about that? Can we take a kneel and pray? You guys can kneel. I'm not just this is the church.
And pause again. This is all liberation theology, Ford Foundation, CIA, leftist stuff. Oh, pray with me. Now get on your knees. Now lay on your belly. Now pledge allegiance to the New World Order. I mean, I've got the government document right here. Freedom from War, United Nations. State Department law. The UN gets bigger. They take the police, the military, and the citizens' guns. There it is. I'm going to show you from the manual itself. You think you're really going to be safe when only the UN, run by Communist China, has guns? Yeah, right. Well, guess what, Xi Jinping? You may have betrayed your father. I didn't betray mine. Because I don't come from cowards like you. And I piss on you. And I piss on Hitler and Stalin and Mao and all of you. And when we're done with you and all your minions, you'll know you've been defeated. So you can go ahead and throw everything you want against us. But you're now against the Republic. And all you're doing is summoning your destruction. And you will burn in hell. We've got some major news here breaking. FBI, 3 Antifa members arrested for looting Target store in Austin. Now, you'll see headlines all over the news telling you that Antifa is not involved in anything because the members of Antifa are never given cards or membership except for the manager who's above each chapter. Sort of like little secret agents, but look at these tough guys and gal here that have been arrested, and that's just the beginning of this. And again, our government has its problems. Our police have their problems like every other institution, and I want to fix them. I'm anti-police state. But overthrowing government and letting the left take over the police, they don't want to abolish them. They want to take them over. That's your real police state. FBI, 3 Antifa members arrested after looting Target store in Austin. The 3 people identified as Lisa Hogan, 27, Samuel Miller, 22, and Sky Elder, 23, were among a group of about 20 people who broke into a building, stole items, and damaged property on May 31st, according to KSAT. And that's just the beginning of the slow wheels of justice. We know George Soros funds it. We know Alexander Soros funds it. I've shown all the documents. It's on record. Obama's involved in it. The whole mainstream media has endorsed it. But they keep trying to say, oh, FBI says there's no evidence nationwide. That's leftist groups announcing that through the media and putting it out. Antifa is all over the place. I've been running into them for 20 years. They'd always come over and hit me below the belt when I wasn't looking in a protest. They'd say, we're going to kill you. Steve Mason, local TV activist, radio activist, he used to explain, no, that's the black bloc. They're communists. They're part of this group, and they're funded by Soros. I didn't know who Soros was, believe it or not, 25 years ago or so, but I do now. And, man, he was like, they're going to take over. They're the commies. They're the Revolutionary Guard. They're with the Maoists. And he'd been a Quaker. His parents have been real liberal. He'd come down here, gone to UT. We got to see how Steve Mason's doing, man. That guy's something else. But he had been inside of them because he was a liberal until he found out who they really were. And since I mentioned it, we're going to go to your phone calls. But here's Larry Grathwold, Green Beret, Vietnam, highly decorated. He was going to a major university. The weatherman tried to recruit him. He went and told the FBI. They said, yeah, go ahead and get involved in it. Back when the FBI wasn't completely communist. And it later came out in court what he said, that they were actually planning to put 50 million of us in camps, kill 25 million of us. And now you hear this. Hillary says we need camps for men in America, but they got to bankrupt you first and train you that people are taken away for COVID-19 and things. That's the smoke screen to get you ready to be tracked and controlled. Here's what he had to say from the grave.
I brought up the subject of what's going to happen after we take over the government. We become responsible then for administrating, 250 million people. And there was no answers. No one had given any thought to economics. How are you going to clothe and feed these people? The only thing that I could get was that they expected that the Cubans and the North Vietnamese and the Chinese and the Russians would all want to occupy different portions of the United States. They also believed that their immediate responsibility would be to protect against what they called the counter-revolution. And they felt that this counter-revolution could best be guarded against by creating and establishing re-education centers in the Southwest, where we would take all the people who needed to be re-educated into the new way of thinking and teach them how things were going to be. I asked, well, what is going to happen to those people that we can't re-educate, that are die-hard capitalists? And the reply was that they'd have to be eliminated. And when I pursued this further, they estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill. 25 million people. I want you to imagine sitting in a room with 25 people, most of which have graduate degrees from Columbia and other well-known educational centers, and hear them figuring out the logistics for the elimination of 25 million people. And they were dead serious.
No Place to Hide documentary in 1982. And they were dead serious, just like Margaret Sanger wanting to abort all the, quote, black weeds. Look it up. By the way, I'm not going to do it, but, you know, I could rent a bulldozer. And I could go down to UT, and I could wait till the middle of the night so I wouldn't run anybody over when it's empty. And I could run over to that LBJ statue. Because he was in the KKK. And his letters are in the National Archive, and they're at his own law library outside the building where his statue is, saying that he hates black people. And call him the N-word. But you know, if I ran over his statue with a bulldozer, I'd spend 20 years in prison. Now, I don't want to run over his statue. In fact, we should leave it up someday and explain who he is and have some plaques around it. It's historical. But that's the type of crap that those of us that are informed have to put up with. You understand, ladies and gentlemen, that Barack Obama was trained by the Weather Underground on record, Bill Ayers, and his wife's first job, Bill Ayers gave him. Michael Obama's first job. And that's who these people are. And they think it's all funny, and they take our tolerance as weakness, and they're just here to sow deceit and dissension and evil. They put your ass in a death camp and work your ass to death in 10 seconds flat. So you remember who they are. And you think about it long, and you think about it hard. So here's Michelle telling people, don't hashtag on Twitter. You get out there in the street. But if you're conservative or a Christian or want to open your business, you stay in your house and go bankrupt, bitch. Here it is.
Talking down to those people, it is up to you to call them out. Because we won't solve anything if we're only willing to do what's easiest. We've got to make hard choices and sacrifices in our own lives. So if you're spending a lot of time just hashtagging and posting right now, that's useful, especially during a pandemic. But it's only a beginning.
Ugh.
Go further. Send all your friends a link to register to vote. Text everybody you know to join you in exercising their constitutional right to protest. Ask yourself, do you know where your polling place is?
Meanwhile, anybody promoting Americana, anybody promoting freedom, anybody showing a cop getting beat up, you're banned on Twitter or Facebook or Google. And during this huge election meddling, Trump and everybody just sits there and takes it. And they've got all these attorney generals elected, something like 25 of them by Soros. And I know for a fact they've got those state attorney generals with criminal investigations opened up on talk show hosts, you name it, trying to put everybody in prison once they take Trump out. It's a communist takeover, folks. They think you're done. They're coming for you and your family. You saw Michelle Obama saying, get out there in the streets. Well, we better get out there in the streets and on the cyberspace and everywhere and speak up, or when they get a Democrat in, they're going to come down with both feet on us, and it's going to go to civil war, physical. And I want to stop that, but let me tell you, when they start saying overthrow our local governments and it's foreign funded, that's treason. We have these laws. We send the cops out to enforce it. Then we blame them and we don't like the laws. You blame the legislature. You blame yourself. You change the law. I don't like TSA. The border's wide open, but they're going to grab my kids' genitals. Okay, change the regulation and change the law in Congress. Don't blame the TSA agent. This is common sense, folks.